My Little Nightmares, and it's me, Queen Nightmare. I just had a brain fart when I was saying Little Nightmare. I don't understand. Okay, so if you haven't seen the Snary story, I got a little peeved at the end. I recommend watching the video because I really enjoyed recording them, and I really do like it when I recorded it, and it was really fun. So I hope you guys like it. If you haven't watched it, I do believe you should. Okay, this is the Ferret Drarry story. What frickin' chapter are we on? I had a brain. I got angry because a manga I was reading was so confusing, and I just wanted to rip my eyeballs out. Yes, I said eyeballs. Yes, my eyeballs. Not anyone else's, apparently. Not yet. Oh, this is almost over. I didn't notice that. Chapter 26 of Wolves and Stars. Young and Menace. Fall Out Boy. Warning for mentions of suicide, nothing graphic or descriptive, but still worth mentioning. How far along is my video recording? Okay, we can say that word. I want to eat tonight, so that's how it is. Sweetie, did you read the newspaper? What? I have a question. Huh? I'm so confused. Oh, I'm mushing the two stories together. I'm like, why would Remus say Sweetie and Sirius died in the other one? So, interesting. Sweetie, did you read the newspaper? Remus stared intensely at the article, growling lightly. His bright, happy mood disappeared immediately, replaced instead by a mean, aggressive mood. Instead of sipping on a cup of tea and snuggling with Sirius, he now wanted to violently attack the man that was putting his cubs at risk. The werewolf in him simply wanted to kill those that even dared blink at his cubs. Who the fuck are his cubs? I'm sorry for the F word, but seriously, who are they? Be specific, please. Stop playing the word game. I hate when movies do the word game. I will, You know when the movie is really good, when you cheer for the villain. No, but I guess I will after I make you your tea, said Sirius tiredly. After the given moment, he was running off of 2 cups of coffee he had 3 hours ago. At least this morning, he hadn't woken up with a hangover, or worse, naked with Remus on Dora's couch again. With Remus? So, is this like a 3-way? I'm so confused. Ginny Weasley was found murdered on Halloween night. The article states that Professor Sinistra, don't know, found her dead. Remus's chocolate brown eyes with specks of golden honey color in them stared intensely at the article. He was holding the newspaper with such roughness that it was likely he had damaged it. He released a deep, throaty growl, almost like a warning call. Despite his cardigan and loose pajama pants, he lost his pajama shirt last week. I wonder where it went. He looked dangerous, and that wasn't taking any of his werewolf genes into consideration. Harry probably played a part in it, considering his father needed blood. No need to worry. Sirius sat down across the table from his love, setting a cup of tea on his placemat. He then put Remus's tea on the doily. Gosh. What are you, living in Grandma's house? I'm sorry. Why a doily? Just do a coaster. Who has time to do doilies? Ugh. Unless you're at a grandmother's house, or Was my hair still that wet? I don't know. He then put Remus's tea on the doily that belonged to him. Hermione probably knew a spell that cleansed their hands of the blood. They're very smart, those two. Besides, their father's the Dark Lord. I doubt he left them without defense. I don't care, snarled Remus, ignoring the stern glare that Sirius gave him. There's something up with her death. Both of you stop! Dora Tonks stared sternly at the duo. Effectively... Oh, I have a question for you guys. Why does she not like being called Nymphadora? I keep on forgetting that. Because every time someone calls her Nymphadora, her hair turns like a reddish color because she's angry. And she's like, don't ever call me Nymphadora. And I was like, wait, I never found out why. If you guys know, please put it down in the comments because I don't. Dora Tonks stared sternly at the duo, effectively shutting up her second cousin and his boyfriend. She swished a strand of her short bubblegum pink hair away from her face, ignoring the fact that the strand of hair she moved was now a bright turquoise color. She could change her physical appearance however she pleased, due to the fact that she is a metamorphic. Something is wrong. Very wrong. Ginny was found dead. She was declared a suicide, but the way she bled out, it couldn't be. Why? Sirius looked at Dora with concern. Dora rarely seemed so angry, much less seemingly ready to punch someone in the face. The newspaper said it was a murder. She was stabbed in the back, quite literally. She also sustained multiple bruises throughout various places of her body. Interestingly, she was found in her evening clothes, despite the fact that she wasn't close to when she went to bed. Dora looked at Remus before looking at Sirius. I don't think that actual Ginny is dead. However, whoever is dead isn't Ginny. No one else noticed that Ginny had 3 tattoos, a hickey, and a wand that wasn't hers. Are you going to bring it up? Remus looked at Dora curiously, putting down his newspaper to make eye contact with her. No, she said simply. The Ministry wants everything back to normal. Chances are that I'd lose my job, and Molly Weasley seems completely okay considering she just lost her daughter. I think they know, but they don't want to cause alarm. But if poor Ginny committed suicide, one day one could easily feel safe and keep on living. They wouldn't have to face the fact that the body doesn't belong to Ginny and that it wasn't an accident, answered Sirius. Something big is going on, and it's trying to be hidden. I don't think anyone's safe. Dora Tonks pulled out one of her chestnut brown chairs and sat down with her new tenants. Tenants. Funny, because they accidentally crash on the couch naked. Also known as her second cousin and his boyfriend. Why do you keep on saying that? You only have to mention it once, and that's it. Don't mention it twice, because that will irk me. 3rd time, I punch you. Her hair turned into a bright yellow color, before turning into a gloomy blue color. Her funeral is next week, if you were curious. Hogwarts is having a small viewing, but the Weasley family is having an actual funeral that anyone is welcome to attend. Do you think that Harry's father has something planned? Asked Remus. No, I think Dumbledore has something planned. It's not the other way around, asked Remus with a raised eyebrow. Remus had only met the man once, very briefly, when Harry and Hermione were a month old. He was rather cryptic but still seemingly intelligent. Remus did know that the man smelled of parchment, baby powder, books, potions, and cologne. I'm trying to mix that in my mind. Like, what is that smell? I would like to make that smell. Regardless, he remembered the man was very, very dramatic. Perhaps dramatic enough to challenge Sirius. Either way, ooh, what a burn against Sirius. Ugh. Either way, revealing that he was well and alive at Ginny's funeral would create a panic and not even Dumbledore could control. I don't know. I was only like 6 when the man fell from power, answered Dora, her hair turning into a beautiful scarlet color. Even now, even though as a 20-year-old, I still don't know much of the man. Seems the only thing that everyone can agree on is that the fact that Harry is the first person to survive the curse. But still, it's agreed we're going to the Ginny's funeral? Asked Sirius, sipping on his tea. He'd done it perfectly, despite Remus constantly whining about how he'd made it. He knew better than to tell Remus to make his own tea, though. Of course, said Remus. You're going to have to go as my pet, though. Can't have Albus or anyone else, save for Harry and Hermione, see you. I could go as your partner. At seeing the guy's looks, Dora added, a guy and his dog sounds strange, considering that most people aren't going to bring a pet. You know how Molly is about strange things. But if I were your partner to have, if I were to have a partner, Molly is a lot more willing to talk to a seemingly normal couple with a dog that can't stay home by itself. Agreed Sirius, seeing Remus nod. He likes to interrupt her, doesn't he? Well, dang. It's like they have the same mind or something. Well, Remus does eventually end up with Tonks, and supposedly a lot of people think that Sirius and Remus dated, and I think Sirius and Tonks probably were like the same person, so, oh well. Remus nod. Dora smiled. Well then, let's discuss our clothing and our tactics. I think, what side are they on? No, that's not what she was saying. It was, I think, ... and I just had to ask a question. What goes through your, what side are they on? That's my question. Because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just wondering, what the heck is this? You know what I mean? But it's not a bad thing. I was like, wait, are they on Voldemort's side or Dumbledore's side? I wouldn't know, but they know about Harry and Hermione, and they're like friends with them. Is that meaning they're on their side though? Huh? And in this timeline, it's not. He's not crazy. So I'm guessing he's just a man from power that can be very, very powerful and scary at times. Which I don't think he's the Voldemort, like how we know him. Chapter 27, a very bad surprise. Helena, so long and good night. My Chemical Romance. Saturday wasn't exactly a very nice day, considering that rain threatened to fall from the sky at any given moment. Heavy winds whipped around the Weasleys' burrow, blowing away several light decorations that were set up. Earlier in the morning, there had been a light drizzle, causing the grass to be damp even hours later. Saturday just felt sad and unhappy, almost as if the day understood that something sad was occurring. although that was simply impossible and rather stupid sounding. Hey, old ladies can say it. Young kids like us. I mean, if it was a child saying it. But millennials and people in between the child range and the elderly range, nah, it sounds stupid. Kids saying it, cute. Elderly saying it, that's elderly. Us, no. I'm so glad you were able to make it, said Molly Weasley with a smile. Dressed in a crimson silk... Crimson? Hold on! You a hoe. I'm sorry. You don't dress crimson at a murder funeral, especially a murder funeral. It makes you look guilty. I'm sorry. But I do like a red dress from time to time. But I don't think red looks good on me. Dressed in a crimson silk dress, she looked as though she were attending a fancy dance rather than her daughter's funeral. That's what I thought. Patricia, K, I'm not saying her last name because I will butcher it. You know who Patricia is. Gave her a rather dirty look. Well, I would too. Her face was rather pale, which very well could have been due to the black veil she wore with her fashionable black dress. It was a funeral after all. Very light traces of makeup were visible on her face, although it only helped to enhance her oddly youthful face. A peacock feather tattoo was visible on the front of her throat, which Molly immediately disapproved of. I'm very sorry for your loss. My condolences are with your family during this hard time. Molly bit her tongue while willing herself to cry. Thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to me and my family. Of course not, said Patricia icily. After all, it's not like my entire family died. Oh, crap! I'll try to say her name if you don't know who I'm talking about. Fuck it. I ain't doing it. No! Immediately whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie pie, said Molly in a fake tone, giving her a pat on the back. Patricia wasn't a person that Molly expected, nor wanted to see at Ginny's funeral, especially now that she had a nose piercing and at least one visible tattoo. Honey, your daughter was a streetwalker, pretty much. She hoed herself out to Potter. He was. That's what she did. I'm sure, said Patricia drily. Now I must go and mingle with the other individuals. Oh, you poor dear, losing your baby. Come and Mama Tiffany will give you a hug. Tiffany Woodworth was a woman that Molly was also moderately surprised to see. Her chocolate skin looked absolutely flawless, likely due to the fact that she was related very distantly, as in cousin's daughter's daughter, to the Zabinis. Oh, okay, that's cool. Dressed in a white flowered sundress. I don't mind white at a funeral. White could mean like the happiness of youth and it's like pure, like she had a pure heart, which is not true. But a sundress is kind of cute and trying to have like the joy that the kid was, if it was a kid. But I like that. A white flowered sundress. I have one of those, or used to. I don't think it fits me anymore. She looked rather like she was on holiday. Molly bitterly remembered that she was on holiday with her partner. It was completely plausible that she came from her stroll on the boardwalk to the funeral. Oh, thank you, said Molly. She felt herself be embraced by the woman. Eli sends her condolences. She she couldn't make it. Her brother's been in a tragic accident. Poor little baby, always getting in accidents. Tiffany realized Molly from her hug. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Ginny seemed like such a sweet girl. Molly began to sob, earning her pitiful and sad looks. She was always such a sweet girl. She always tried to help everyone. Look at where that got her. My baby's gone. Tiffany rubbed Molly's shoulder gently. There. Come along inside. We can get you a drink of water and a bit of food. That always seemed to help my mother after Uncle Jeremy died. How terrible, said Hestia Jones, frowning as Molly walked up by. Her golden blonde hair fell to her shoulder. Why are we talking about people that we don't care about? No offense, but ugh. Her golden blonde hair fell to her shoulder in neat curls, looking moderately similar to Spring's, dressed in a thin white dress with a brown belt around her waist. She almost looked like some deceptions of the Greek goddess with her name. Poor dear, losing her daughter like that. Yep. Clark said Clark. Liname, I think is how you say it, or L. Clark L. He was a rather plump, round-faced man with a graying mustache and tufts of gray hair sticking out on the sides of his head. He looked rather like a bowling pin with hair. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Such a good family, yet she ended her own life. Makes you wonder if maybe everything wasn't so perfect. He right, it ain't perfect. Maybe not, says I'm probably saying this name wrong, but I can think of Hera, but I don't remember Hestia. Hera's the goddess of wisdom. She's the goddess of wisdom. Her tone of annoyance, but we don't know, so therefore we can't judge. Hestia looked around cautiously. Of course, it makes you wonder. Molly always seemed way too kind, don't you think? Of course, said Clark gruffly. My brother Hank always said she was fake. Good for nothing lad. Apparently she was quite a treat when she was younger. Everyone, though she was gonna get married with the Franklin boy, but she ended up with Arthur. No one knows how or why, because I think he's so easy to push around. Tonks idly strolled throughout the crowd, I don't know where that came from, the crowd, holding on Remus's arm. She smiled kindly at the several small children that were running around, smiling at their innocence. She nodded icily in recognition of her co-workers, considering that many of them were cheap, cowardly wannabes. Remus politely exchanged kind greetings with several individuals, ignoring the fact that Sirius was growling at most of them. Excuse Polka Dot. He's a rescue. As a matter of fact, I just got him a few days ago, was the explanation Remus offered the guests. He has anxiety and attachment issues. He can't be left home alone. My poor baby. Dora's Methan? Blue eyebrow was cocked upon seeing students from Hogwarts around, considering that Their guardians likely didn't know that they were attending a funeral. A funeral for a student that died in the school where their pupil was attending. This was incredibly unsafe, and they wonder why Hogwarts has so many deaths, because people are stupid. I mean, have you seen a horror movie? Everyone dies except the smart people. And what is Hermione? Smart. If you stick with the smart person, you won't die, basically. If everyone could please conjugate to the backyard for a few words from some very special and unique individuals, said Arthur. I think he's a pushover. That's why she married him, because she can't push the other guy. She can push him and make him do whatever she wants. But that would be very much appreciated. Seeing the man up closely was like seeing a breathing version of death. His face was pale, almost as if the hands of death had rested upon his unshaven face. His eyes, once filled with kindness and warmth that made him seem like the loving type, were hollow and glazed, as if the life was sucked out of his body. His orange-red hair stuck up in every direction, as if he could have cared less about how he looked. The wrinkled plaid shirt with stained tan trousers only helped to further the story, or that theory. Oi, watch yourself, said an elderly lady. She swung her wooden cane at Remus before walking off, muttering about the lazy generations, and now little respect they had. Lady, you don't deserve respect when you talk to me like that. All of this because he'd nearly fallen over in front of her. Old people are stupid. Tonks rolled her eyes, peeking up slightly once she saw Harry Potter. He was being escorted by Mad-Eye Moody, one of Tonks' closest friends. Uh-oh. That's not Mad-Eye Moody. Ebony black hair seemed moderately well tamed, considering that it usually looked like a bird's nest. Today it looked like a Q-tip that had been placed under a hairdryer. Dark emerald green eyes scanned the crowd, almost as if at unrest with something. His tan skin seemed tanner than in the photos Dora had seen of him, but that very well could have been just because he was an itty-bitty baby in those photos. Dressed in a black suit with a Gryffindor tie, he looked truly handsome. It appeared some of the funeral guests noticed if the looks they sent him meant anything. Moody looked rather moody. His scarred face was twisted with disgust, likely because that was an accurate description. His dirty blondish brown hair formed his face like a lion mane. The mental image of a lion, and Moody's face submerged itself into Dora's brain, which caused her to laugh. Dressed in a dirty brown suit with a white shirt, he looked as if he were working on a case rather than attending a funeral. Maybe he felt that he was. Remus growled, sneering at Ron. Do you see this? That little... Remus, be a dear and get your shit together. Dora frowned. That tramp is holding... What? Why is he holding Harry's hand? Whoa. No. That means he did the potion. He took the potion. Holding onto Harry's hand, Ron was indeed holding onto Harry's hand as though it was his life support. It wasn't that Dora particularly thought it wrong that Ron wanted to date Harry, but she thought he rather pervertedly, to be blunt, Dora was in no way homophobic, considering that she lived with Sirius and Remus, and the fact that she wasn't straight. She leaned more towards being pansexual. Just as I thought, this day couldn't get worse, stated Remus irritably. I know that my club isn't willingly holding his hand, and Malfoy looks particular pissy. That he did. He was curled up on Harry's shoulder, discreetly showing Ron his teeth. It was very obvious that Draco thought of the arrangement. Even as a ferret, it was rather easy to tell that Draco's nose was upturned. It was a thing the Malfoys did when they were disgusted. Seconds later... No! No, I'm throwing my phone away. Ron was kissing Harry! Mind if I just die now, please? I'm going to end it here because gross. And it's not that I'm homophobic. It's just... my dad's coming. And he's on his way. So... thank you guys for watching. Help me. Send help. I'm SOS. Gross. I love you guys so much. I hate myself. Comment down below what you want to happen next. Like him punching him? Or I want Draco to turn back into a boy and tell Harry how he really feels and them to get it on. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Be happy, be healthy, and always be loving. Stay inside. Don't go out and partying. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye. Love you. You know what? I'm going to read on because I just need to get this out of my system before other things happen. Chapter 28, The Priestess of Death. Tonks frowned at the very poor setup of Ginny's funeral. Although she wasn't surprised, under a large tent, one that was larger on the outside, was to be Ginny's funeral. Rather honestly, it felt more or less like being at the circus, especially after seeing the way that some of the guests were dressed. I demand to know why Ron kissed my godson, spat Remus, angrily cursing under his breath, rather loudly. His eyes were all alight with fury, anger dancing around his honey-brown irises. He tugged harshly on the gray and yellow cardigan he was wearing, ignoring the tan fabric of his trousers, rubbing on an open wound. His clothing was supposed to make him look less dangerous and seem more cuddly. Sirius growled in agreement. He slowly paced in front of Remus, with a predator just waiting to sink their teeth into the neck of their prey. He looked more like a wild dog in that moment than he did a friendly pet. Thankfully, people warily looked at Sirius and chose to stay away. I'm sure we'll get answers. Now hush up. It's a funeral, not a gossip convention. I'm pretty sure it's kind of both, but yeah. Dora gave Remus a pointed look. Her hair turned into a midnight black color, almost matching the color of her dress that she wore. She shifted on her feet, realizing that she probably shouldn't have worn heels. She'd kill for some simple flats. With a minimal touch of dark colored makeup, she looked like she was a paid mourner that would break out weeping any moment. Professor Sinistra stood at the front out of the tent, looking as if she herself had spoken to death. Dressed in a sparkling black dress with new navy blue heels, she looked out of place. Golden hair was neatly curled into ringlets. which allowed her hair to go above her shoulders. Please silence yourself. Molly Weasley walked into the front of the tent, standing next to Professor Sinistra, who suddenly looked very uncomfortable. Molly then moved away from Professor Sinistra. She stood at the podium between Ginny's casket and the large portrait of Ginny. Thank you, Lady Sinistra. Lady? Is she royalty? Now we've all gathered here today to mourn the loss of my little girl, my precious little Ginny. Ouch, this hurts because I know how much she's faking, and a lot of other people do too. I feel that no one can say the right things about her, not even me. She deserves so much more, so much better. I always thought that she'd be able to live beyond this, to go on and marry. I thought she'd have children like she always wanted to. Anyways, I proudly have the honor of presenting Lady Clarissa Piper Moonlight. Please welcome the priestess who will lead us in honoring my daughter. Molly stepped off the podium. A lady stepped into the podium, likely being Lady Clarissa. A black veil covered all of her face, making it impossible to get a good estimate of her age. The silk material of her black dress clung to the top of her frame, looking around the hips to create a rather large skirt. It looked like a dress from the Victorian era of England. Ooh, I like those dresses. She clasped her hands on the podium, began to look at ease. My dearest friends, it is I, Lady Clarissa Piper Moonlight, said the lady. I am the priestess of the gods Crippa and Datilos. Never heard of them, but okay. Crip was a god native to the African wizarding world. He was said to be the god of cryptic messages, future visions, riddles, and unsolved challenges. He was praised as a creator of the defenses that allowed for the evil Damien, pretty much it is, to be trapped in a torturous eternity in the sun. His riddle stumped the demon, who agreed to go back to the sun if he didn't get the riddle correct. Daedalus was also god native to African wizarding world, probably because I've never heard of it. I don't know if this is a real thing, but he was the god of imprisonment, torture, deadly illnesses, murder, and most notably, death. He was credited with murdering Queen Calypsha, Damien's great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter. He killed her so that the kingdom could be free of a tyrant ruling. Lady Clarissa bowed. My life's purpose is solely to serve the gods, Daedalus and Crip. If I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. Since I was a small child, I've had visions from the gods. I've seen death in many forms, so many forms. I need to calm down, because I'm mad. I'm sorry. When I was 5, my parents scraped together enough money to send me to the religious boarding school in Romania. Ooh, I want to go there. Romania's kind of cool. I heard it's pretty cool there. I need to go there. Several of the nuns from a tiny town in Africa opened a school, and they continued to keep running it. It was there, and I learned how to control my visions. And now I'd like to share my visions about what I've seen concerning Ginny and everything else. Please brace yourselves as I prepare to show you the future. Lady Clarissa moved her head around. Like 360? Or just like doing like the snake thing, like the head back and forth. Can you hear that? That's my dad outside. Thank goodness. In my visions, I've seen Ginny struggling to embrace who she really was. Without a supportive family, Ginny began to feel down. She didn't want to burden anyone, so she suffered in silence. And then she couldn't take it anymore. A rude note from a fellow peer was all it took. May the goddess Everty, bless her soul as she passes through the 6th realm. There's how many realms? Wait, where's the first realm? I'm sorry, I'm getting way too invested in this. And I'm kind of regretting it, and I want to go back to Snarry. This story is a mess. Can you save me, guys? Like, please tell me there's romance between Harry and Draco in the end, because this is a pain in the buttocks. May the goddess I've seen lust corrupt the minds of the weak, turn even the gentlest soul into a monster that everyone fears. I've seen love drive men to the brink of insanity, drive them off the edge of sanity. I guess that's not my dad. Dad, what are you doing outside? Oh well, whatever. I've seen gentle, pure souls begin to taint because people tried to corrupt them. I've seen even the most patient people snap. Even the most kind people will stab you if you deserve it, after they've had enough. Lady Clarissa smiled under the veil. Molly glared at the woman. Lady Clarissa, you're supposed to be saying words for my daughter, not giving a shush, darling. For I have no need for your input. As a matter of fact, you've served your purpose. Thank you, said Clarissa in a dark tone. If it wasn't for you, filthy harlot, I wouldn't be able to make a critical announcement. In the background, the screaming began. The sky was filled with neon green light, but Molly wasn't sure what it is. The screaming grew louder. I've been patiently waiting long enough, said the priestess. Her body shifted, no longer looking like a female. Did you miss me? Yes. Sorry, finally, someone I like. And it's Voldemort. I hate myself. The one person you're supposed to hate, and you're rooting for the villain, and that's supposed to be a good story. You got this. Hey, he just made it so much better. I'm sorry if this is weird, but I am so much happier with with Voldemort being there. Chapter 29. Bye, my children. Final chapter. Oh. Okay. It's the Dark Mark, Hestia Jones breathlessly said. That means that you're Lord Voldemort? The veil was ripped away to show the pale serpentine face of the said man. His crimson eyes were narrowed at the crowd in front of him. There was an unnatural spark in his eyes, as if he were moments from leaving the entire crowd without their heads. Oh no, not my baby's funeral. Who you kiddin'? Said Molly. Oh, wait. No, not at my baby's funeral, Molly Weasley darkly said. She went to get her wand, but was frozen in her tracks. It may have been worth noting that she no longer had a head attached to her body. Oh my, she was just beheaded. Thank you. That sounds so mean. I'm so sorry, but oh, yes, I wanted her to die. Please kill Ron next. Kill him. It wasn't that he knew her personally, but rather that he'd just seen one of the most violent acts of his life. The crowd began to disperse, running in every direction. There are screaming and crying as people ran for their lives. Some tripped and fell, raising back into their feet a few seconds later. Some fell and never rose again. lovers were separated and friends lost sight of each other and never saw each other again. Death didn't care who you were. He simply came to collect souls whenever he was needed. Crap, 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 said David, yanking on Harry's arm. We're leaving right now. Something's wrong. This is absolutely insane. You don't say, growled Harry, pleased to see his sister running towards them. A moment later, she was hugging him as though she'd never see him again. We need to run. Faster than we've ever run. And further, much further. Wait, why are they running from the father? And said David tiredly. I don't feel like running. I want to sleep. I want to slap someone. Now run. Harry dove to the side to avoid a spell that his father sent at him. The message was clear. I will kill you. I really never wanted kids. I used you, you stupid moron. I gained your trust. And look at what I'm capable of doing. There's no room for distractions. Stay still, darling. I'll exterminate you like the pest you are. Short and sweet. I like it. But I'm sorry. I would die. Harry was breathing heavily, and he continued to run. His feet couldn't fail him now. Draco chattered nervously from where he was resting under Harry's shirt. What do we do now? Run, said David. We flee the scene. We disappear. How does America sound? Brazil? Greece? Oh, wait, how about Canada? Those places sound lovely, said Hermione, smiling softly as she continued to run. Her chocolate brown hair continued to blow in her face, which she tried her hardest to ignore. She knew she should have braided her hair, but more importantly, she would change out of the long gray gown, gray dress, and 3-inch heels. Hey, I can run in 3-inch heels. I can run in 6-inch heels, but they have to be the thick ones. If she had the choice between her outfit and her hair. Come on, Neville. Neville grabbed Hermione's hand, wheezing as he tried to keep up with them. He struggled as he tried not to trip over his own feet. Is that a wheeze interrupted Neville's speech. Death Eater? Just one, said Hermione grimly. Looking around, she saw at least 7 figures that appeared to be Death Eaters, where there could have been more, blending in as regular, normal citizens. I see at least 7. Lovely, said David irritably. Just what we need, as if it wasn't bad enough before. During the same time, Remus was running after where he saw his grandson disappear. Sirius ran around, causing a large distraction for everyone. It bought several children and teenagers the precious seconds they needed. Dora, meanwhile, ran around and stunned whoever glanced at the trio. Hurry, I can still smell Harry, ordered Remus, running faster than he was used to. After this, he was considering getting a gym membership, which he figured he could use. Who's running with? Are they a professional athlete? Dora nearly tripped over the fallen decoration. I can tell they're not wearing heels. This is the last time I wear heels to an event that leads to the Dark Lord making a guest appearance. This way, Harry's with Malfoy, Hermione, and Neville, an adult. Someone who is using a potion that I can't place, is leading the group. I'd say it's male, if the scent of cologne is anything to go by, and Ron isn't far behind, Remus, after sniffing the air. Figures, said Tonks, swearing she she almost tripped again. She then realized that she could transfigure her heels into a pair of flats. Why didn't you do that? Which is exactly what she did. Why didn't she do that in the first place? Like, she's like, I could get some heels. Why didn't you just transfigure your... I'm sorry, people don't think. And I relate to this person, so I'm yelling at myself, basically. Which is exactly what she did. It was then she did away with her heavy dress, transfiguring it into a pair of tight black skinny jeans and a black shirt. Ha 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 ha! Taunted on of the Death Eaters. With large curls of light brown hair, Dora Tonks went on to presume the person was likely female. A tight-fitting black dress, with which the person wore with a corset, hanging the person's curves, only furthering Dora's thoughts. Itty-bitty Nimadora thinks she's gonna stop me, itty-bitty baby, trying to be a wily big adult. Dora took a sharp inhale of breath. No. That meant that she had to be Bellatrix Lestrange Nee Black. That was her aunt. She would have been. Her aunt had Andromeda, if I said that wrong, not been disowned, Bellatrix Lestrange. Remus tensed beside her, snarling lightly at the woman. He knew who she was. Everyone did. Everyone knew what she did too. Rudolphus had a twin brother named Sebastian Lestrange. They'd both been sorted into Slytherin, which wasn't a surprise to anyone. He'd been vaguely similar looking to Rodolphus, but their personalities were very different. Rodolphus was very outgoing, and at least with those in his social circle, he was well respected among his peers, even those who weren't Slytherins. Some might describe him as annoying, loud, and rather rambunctious. But part of it was due to the fact that he was pureblood. They were supposed to be above such behavior. Academically speaking, he was a slight bit below average, which he made up with his physical abilities. His parents were rather proud of the fact that their son was a well-built fighting machine. Sebastian, however, was nearly the exact opposite. He was so shy that he couldn't look anyone in the eye when speaking to them. When he was called on to answer questions in the class, he spoke in soft, timid tone. This later led him to be called some rather rude nicknames. His teachers described him as a socially impaired but very brilliant. He passed his classes with flying colors. However, he was rather meek and small. And once they turned 18, they were both to be married off. Rodolphus was to be married of Bellatrix Black, and Sebastian was to be married to the beautiful woman named Poppy Elizabeth Dagmar. She was a Romanian pureblood. Bellatrix, out of jealousy of how beautiful Poppy was, tried to kill her. Instead of working as Bellatrix intended it, the curse placed upon Poppy made it impossible for her to ever have children. The child that Poppy was carrying died, leaving Sebastian and Poppy heartbroken. She was roughly 6 months along. It was then Bellatrix realized she hated children, along with pretty women. Bellatrix, being herself, chose to take action. On a cold morning, she left house in a long black trench coat with a Slytherin scarf wrapped around her neck. She returned 45 minutes later. after burning down an orphanage whose staff consisted of beautiful young women. As if that didn't satisfy her cravings, she went to multiple strip clubs, murdering everyone she could. And then at a beauty pageant, it got rapidly worse every time, seeming that it couldn't get any worse. She planned on setting another orphanage on fire, but she was imprisoned first, after she tortured both Neville's parents into insanity. "Hi-ho, biatch," Remus coldly said, his eyes flickering a hateful look. "I see you're no longer setting orphanages on fire. Is that too mainstream for you now?" "You foolish wolf," said Bellatrix with a cold laugh. "While I was out setting orphanages on fire, you were banging or being banged by Sirius. Run along with that itty-bitty little werewolf. WHRORE. I have an ex-cousin to slaughter." Dora glanced at Remus, then at Sirius. He was standing there, completely... nude. Dora looked back at Bellatrix. "Well, hello, I'm here to help," said an unfamiliar voice. His accent was Scottish, and at least Dora believed it was Scottish. Chocolate brown hair fell in every direction, although he still looked very attractive. His eyes were filled with the calm insanity as he barely restraining himself from murdering someone. "Oh, a blood traitor. Tell me, Barty, are you really entrusting your life with a bunch of 14-year-olds? Or are there for something else? After all, we Death Eaters do like our playthings young." "Ugh," Bellatrix tutted at Harry. "Although, really, you picked an odd group. Although, I guess the body does have its desires." He looked at her as though she suggested that he fling himself off a bridge to see if he could cure illnesses. You're disturbing and disgusting. Maybe that it has something to do with why your husband tried to divorce you." "Is this a Death Eater's gossip session or what?" Hermione looked irritable at Harry. "If it was, you think I could be about something other than a sex partner and fantasies?" said Harry in a tight tone. It was clear that he was both frightened and annoyed. "I don't know, mate. It's been a good 14 years. What else are they gonna talk about? The latest Quidditch game?" Neville did have a point with his statement, even if Harry didn't particularly like it. Did you think Lord Voldemort cared about your filthy mud-blood wife or his half-breed children?" "Oh, I mean, really," Bellatrix looked at the group, before seeing Neville standing there. "Oh, itty-bitty baby. How's the little cowardly baby's parents?" Neville's face fell, his cheeks losing all color. But then he stood up and looked right into Bellatrix Lestrange's beady black eyes. "They're just dandy, thanks for asking. I think I forgot to ask the most important question." "What's that?" Bellatrix grinned at Neville, as if imagining his head on a stick. "What color would you like your funeral dress?" Neville grinned at her. It wasn't a natural smile, looking more like a look a predator gives the prey before devouring the whole thing. "What?" Bellatrix was losing her temper. They said temperature. All of these idiots were causing her head to ache. Cryptic riddles weren't really Bellatrix's thing. It's basically saying that, what do you want to be in when you die? Bellatrix. He's going to kill you, basically. Especially considering that she had no patience for such things. And then she fell to the ground, her chest hitting the ground first. "Hope I'm not too late," Lavender, breathing heavy, said. Dressed in a gray shirt with a black skirt, she looked very professional. "Oh, Mama, I just killed a man. Well, technically a woman, but whatever." "I'm not dead," said Bellatrix, through her voice sounded pained. She was breathing heavily, such breath, each breath growing pain and growing more and more pained. What'd you do, you useless mudblood?" "Well, I stabbed you. Kind of. I sort of let the blade sit in holy water and a potion. So the potion has taken control of your body," said Lavender quickly. Maybe it was a poison. That makes more sense. I think it might have been poison. Yeah." "I'd suggest running," said Parvati, from where we stood behind Lavender. "Come on, love. We gotta go. More Death Eaters are coming." "You can come with us, if you like," said the Scottish man that Dora presumed was Barty. "That'd be lovely," said Lavender quickly. "Come along, Dean, Seamus. We have to have a responsible adult now." "I wouldn't go as far as to say responsible," said David hurriedly, "but I will take a compliment when I get one. Hurry along. We're going to apparate once. We're a bit further away." "As if you're taking my grandson." And Sirius, said Sirius, looking as though he tasted something bitter. "Harry, duck!" Parvati's scream of warning came too late. A bright light hit Harry in the back, causing him to fall forward. And behind him stood a human Draco Malfoy. Huh? Wait, Draco's in his shirt. How? I'm so confused now. Epilogue. Die, my sweetie, die. Is this going to be like stupid? Well, I might have got the wrong spell. I got the spell wrong, said David irritably. Anyways, anyone know what the blue spell was? Harry groaned, glaring directly at the man. What the actual... I'm not saying the word. I'm sorry, said David, raising his hands in surrendering motion. It seems I casted a variant of spell I was going for. I must have used a protection spell along with the original spell. Nice, I'm naked. His pale chest rose and fell with every breath, which is the first place Harry happened to look at. Draco's legs were crossed, despite the fact that he almost fell. He actually didn't want Harry's attention to that area with an audience. And you're very pretty, said Harry as he stood up. Why'd you say that? Sirius gave a duo a confused look, which earned him an eye roll for everyone except Remus and Dora. I thought we were stating the obvious, said Harry in a gentle tone. If that's the case, then it's time I tell you how attractive you are, said Draco, his eyelids fluttering shut. This kind of pains me in a way because I'm kind of like being awkward, like I'm in that situation, like what do I do? I should just give him my shirt. Literally, I can go bra. I can just go bra. I'm fine with that. Okay. Draco's eyelids fluttering shut. He was leaning closer to Harry. He was so close to reaching Harry's lips. "Put some clothes on! I transfigured you! You dingy ferret! You're not kissing anybody naked, because then it won't just be kissing, you uncultured swine." David hit Draco with a dirty look. "Really, I really don't want to see any sexual..." "Please stop," pleaded Hermione, looking embarrassed. "You're embarrassing me." "And me," exclaimed Harry, putting his hands on his hips. "Especially me." "I'm getting dressed," said Draco, going behind a tree, finished getting dressed. This was only after he'd put on his ridiculous large shirt that almost went to his knees. "Hey, you can run that." Well, he probably would like some shorts. Just in case. "Hey, just saying, you might want to run. There's an angry Death Eater following us." Seamus was wheezing clearly from running. He had to run fast in order to keep up with Parvati. "They'll kill you for this," said Bellatrix as she lay dying. "I was going to kill Potter with the slow-acting spell, but this useless nephew acted as protection. Now they'll never stop hunting you." "Let them," said David, looking coldly at Bellatrix. I'll put them in their graves. I'll let them sleep with the fishes." "Good luck, Blubber boy. Have fun screwing around with the kids while you can, because once they find you, you'll wish you died here and now. You remember what happens to traitors." Bellatrix smiled as she began to take her final breaths. Her face fell forward into the ground, and her back stopped moving. A burly man in a Death Eater mask stood there, grinning under his mask. "You killed her. For that, you have my eternal respect. As a sign of my gratefulness of freeing me from her, you can run. I won't stop you. Just be quick." "Thanks, mate," said David, running quickly in the opposite direction. He was rather quick on his feet, but the teenagers were equally as fast, save for Parvati, who kept tripping over her dress. Sirius, Remus, and Dora followed along just behind the group. Did the kids flock to the adult or to Harry? I have a couple of questions," said Sirius, grinning widely. He suddenly remembered that he was nude. Oh, and chose to transfigure a leaf into a pair of undergarments and shorts. "Okay, now it's safe to look." It wasn't before?" Harry asked in a deadpan voice. He hadn't even noticed Sirius was naked, considering he was focused solely on Draco. I thought I heard my dad coming up at a weird time, too. It was strange seeing Harry had never noticed how hot Draco was previously, although he hadn't been preoccupied with other things. "Dang it, Harry, don't you ever pay attention?" snapped Hermione. She was sick of Harry's lack of attention, at least towards certain things. "Fight later," said David, painting lightly. Grab hands, everyone. We're leaving." Neville left hand latched onto David's right hand. Hermione then took Neville's right hand into her left hand, with Lavender taking her right hand. I'm so confused. Parvati took Lavender's left hand, and Dean took Parvati's left hand. I'm just kidding. Dora took Remus's free hand, her other hand intertwined with Draco's hand. Harry took onto Draco's free hand and moved to close the circle. Ron burst through the clearing, bleeding from his side. He limped as quickly as he could towards the group, his hand holding his side that was bleeding from. "Can I come? Pretty, 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 please?" He gave his best attempt of puppy dog eyes. "Hurry up," Harry said. "You'll close the circle, I guess." "Thanks," said Ron, groaning slightly. He took both Harry and David's outstretched hands, ignoring the dirty look that majority of the group sent him. "By the way, Dumbledore thinks Harry's dead, and the Dark Lord seems to agree." "Absolutely perfect," said David happily. "Now hold tight. This method of communication isn't meant for this many people." I think they mean like transportation, not communication. "Especially not for this many of people when one of them is injured." He looked at the blood that was rested on his fingers due to Ron. "Don't let go." "That wasn't fun at all," Neville groaning. "Let's never do that again." "Agreed," said Dean. Dean, clutching his stomach. He tilted his head at Seamus, who was puking in a bush. "And if you'll excuse me, I have Seamus to attend to." Lavender nodded her head, ignoring the blonde curls that fell in her face. "It wasn't very relaxing. I think my skirt was ripped." Parvati frowned, looking around at the group. "We look rough." She smiled at Lavender before laying on the flat on the ground. "Does anyone else feel dizzy?" "I do," said Sirius cheerily. His tone was oddly cheerful, like he hadn't just been on the run for his life. "Why are you so happy?" Remus asked, rubbing his head. "I'm rubbing his head. I mean, we all could have died. I'm gay. Draco's gay. I always said it ran in the family." Damn it. It doesn't. Everyone has a gay cousin. Or he's bi, or... "Thank you, Sirius," said Remus, shushing him. "Your narration is no longer needed. I'm sure everyone really appreciated it." I'm sure he has tongue. He has tongue in my godson's mouth, or the other way around. Sirius smiled before frowning. "He's kissing my godson. He's the second male to do that today." Ugh. Sirius shot a pointed look at every other male in the group. "No one else kissing my godson. My godson. Are you kidding me? Can none of you help me with the Weasleys' injuries?" Dora's hair stood in every direction, the rainbow of colors. Her fingers were pressed against Ron's injury. She was muttering a healing spell. "Never mind, I did it myself. You incompetent fools. Not you darling children, I mean the grown adults. Adult men. It seems he was just hit by a very bad hex." "We're all okay," David smiled. He then cleaned himself up with a cleaning spell, and that's absolutely perfect. Remus nodded respectfully at the man. "I agree. I want a full explanation." "Sure, but first let's go in. We're currently in the middle of the woods in America, in case you were going to ask. No one knows we're here. There's a 10-bedroom and a finished basement, so yay. I think there's 5 bathrooms, but I haven't come out here since Rose and I bought the house." David smiled merrily at the group. "Merrily. Thanks for taking care of me." said Draco, his breath fanning against Harry's ear. You're such a kind lion. Harry smirked at Draco. And you were a good little ferret. As a sign of thanks, can I kiss you? Draco blushed slightly. He hoped Harry would say yes, or that would be awkward. Harry answered him by pressing his lips to Draco's. Their lips collided like cars, an accident that neither of them thought would ever happen in previous years. It was shocking to both of them, but neither one of them were complaining about it. And once they broke apart, they both mutually leaned in to kiss each other again. That was nice, said Draco in a breathless tone. He took Harry's hand into his own. We'll have to do that every day, but right now we have to go in. Come along, then, my darling ferret, said Harry, leading Draco to where the rest of the group was filing into the house. There very well have been a war miles upon miles away, but in this moment, everything was perfect in the moment, and absolutely nothing was going to change that. Not a war, not unloving parents, absolutely nothing. Everything was well. Ah! Wait, are you still recording? Okay, making sure. Author's note. I was originally going to make a sequel for this, but now I don't know. I don't know about it. I have various other ideas, so feel free to comment on which one you'd like. If I could have majority votes for August 27th, by August 27th, that'd be absolutely perfect. A Drarry fan fiction Halloween, it'd be likely be gender bent. Okay. A Doctor Who Harry Potter fanfic in which Harry is the doctor and Draco is the companion, also Drarry. I think this would be fun to write. A sequel to this one, I think it'd be a disaster, as in I'd probably discontinue it before I even started it. A Good Omens AU. Harry would be Crowley and Draco would be Aziraphale. That's a name. Also Drarry. Feel free to tell me a number or just comment on the line. Okay. So I'm guessing number 4 won. Number 4 won. Nice. Cool. On another note, thanks for reading. This was super cringe-worthy. Thanks for all the votes and comments, darling. I hope to hear from you all. Yay! It's over. Not in a mean way. I was confused. Why was he drinking? A lot of things happened that I have so many questions for. Now, I really want to, read the Snarry story to Bleach, out my brain for a little while. But I can't read it until tomorrow. Or I will read it tonight sometime. And record it. But I'm having something wrong with my throat. Hold on a second. I can hear me all the way from here. Wow. Okay, ouch. I'm going to have Luna over for 3 days. She'll probably not read anything because I will start a new series, but I want to, sorry, I cracked my knuckles. I want to just do regular things. She'll, appear and do commentary with me. But that's it. If you have a suggestion of another Drarry story or any other story, I've had two, people asking me different types, like one type. It was called Clance. I forgot what it's from, but 2 people have asked for it, but I will do it. Maybe. I don't know what it's about. I have to like read it or something. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys so much. Be safe. Keep away from other people that you are not in a household with. I'm not a good example. Love you guys so much. Bye.